I'm going to do something different now, different than your two tasks. Instead, I'm going to start moving the enemy car, so real enemy car X is going to increase by 1 or by 3. It's important that the enemy is a little bit slower than the player, so that the player is able to overtake the enemy if it's driving well. I'm going to also draw the enemy, and I can also draw him on its real X, and with some sizes like 40-40. And now I hope that I'm able to see an enemy moving right. Instead, I don't have this luck, and this is logical because I don't have any initial good values for real enemy car X and enemy car Y. If I'm not so clever to think that the problem is with those variables, I can also see what is the values of real enemy car X, and the computer will also say that they don't have any value, which is usual when even their initial value is not okay. So I'm going to say that the enemy starts from x0 just like the player, but starts a little bit down. So let's see the enemy now. It looks fine, and I can almost overtake him if I start in the beginning. So I think that everything is fine, except that, again, the camera is not moving at all. And I told you that I can evaluate values for variables such as screen my X and screen enemy X. So perhaps you wonder, where are we going to use such variables? Well, here is the place for them. Exactly, in the drawing. And the more interesting thing is what are going to be a good values for those. Well, my advice is that screen enemy X is always equal to a real enemy car X. This could be a really big number like 2500, but if the player has already reached X 2000, well, we should draw the player and the enemy not on their real axis but on some nicer axis, like the player to be on x0, and if the enemy is 500 pixels to the right, well, let's evaluate this 500. Let's understand that there are only 500 pixels to the right from the player to the enemy. This can be evaluated by subtraction. I can write here minus camera X. Actually, camera X could always be equal to my real X. And in this case, everything is going to be drawn. Everything is going to start from the most left part of the playing field. The player is going to be attached to the most left part of the playing field. If we are going to draw and the enemies and the player according to a camera that's fixed to a player. So I think that the camera should be a little bit to the left from the player. So I want you to think of a better way to write this line, such that the camera is a little bit to the left, and also to use not the real coordinates but screen coordinates, just like my screen enemy X. If you don't understand my idea really well, you can skip to the next video immediately, but I think that you have a pretty good chance to make a camera following the player. Perhaps with my variables, or perhaps with your own variables, so give your best shot. I think you will be fine with this task that I'm going to solve in the next video.